What is your approach to test planning? My approach to test planning involves gathering requirements, understanding the project scope, identifying the key objectives and priorities, and defining a detailed test strategy. I also ensure that the test plan covers all areas of testing, including functional, non-functional, and regression testing. How do you determine the scope of a test plan? To determine the scope of a test plan, I start by reviewing project requirements, including any design documents or user stories. I also consult with stakeholders to understand their expectations and identify any risks or constraints that could impact the project. Based on this information, I create a comprehensive test plan that outlines the scope of testing and the required resources. How do you balance the need for comprehensive testing with time and resource constraints? To balance the need for comprehensive testing with time and resource constraints, I prioritize testing based on the criticality of features and functionality. I also focus on risk-based testing, where I identify and prioritize tests that have the highest likelihood of uncovering defects. Additionally, I employ automation and testing tools to increase efficiency and reduce testing time. How do you communicate the test plan to stakeholders and ensure buy-in? To communicate the test plan to stakeholders and ensure buy-in, I create a clear and concise test plan that outlines the testing strategy, scope, timelines, and deliverables. I also schedule regular meetings to update stakeholders on the progress of testing and address any concerns or issues that arise. Additionally, I ensure that stakeholders have access to relevant test data and reports, so they can track progress and assess the quality of the product. How do you measure the effectiveness of a test plan? To measure the effectiveness of a test plan, I use various metrics, such as defect density, test coverage, and test effectiveness ratio. I also conduct regular reviews of the test plan to identify any gaps or areas for improvement. Additionally, I gather feedback from stakeholders to ensure that the test plan meets their expectations and identifies any areas where improvements can be made.